sant yàlla.
looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay te nag doo ci yokku dara.
Jah Oil, the company, have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jah Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
In the Gambia, we all move to different paces. Time is money, convenience is power, and now both are in your hands. No more long lines, no more late payments, no more missed chances. Not anymore. Because now the Gambia has its own super app, Zap. One app, one tap, endless convenience. Send money instantly, pay your bills in seconds, shop without borders, pay your rides, order your meal, buy your ticket, deposit and withdraw money for absolutely free. No extra charges, no hidden fees, only on Zap Super App. This is not just convenience. This is confidence. This is the future in your hands. And the best part, Zap is born right here. Built for us, designed for every Gambian home, every Gambian dream. So don't wait in the past. Step into the future. Download Zap today on App Store and Play Store and enjoy endless free services. Call us today on our toll-free number 1666 or on 260-0001. Zap, all in one, all for you. Tap in, zap in.
It's Tuesday, the 16th of December 2025, less than 10 days until Christmas. Our next guest, who is already in the studio, needs no introduction. He is Dr. Ismaila Ceesay, my minister, your Minister of Information, Media and Broadcasting Services. I mean, who doesn't know Dr. Ismaila Ceesay? Do you think there's a Gambian who doesn't know you? Good morning. Welcome back to Gov't.
Good morning, Peter. It has consequences.
For not knowing you?
For being someone who everybody knows.
What are the consequences? Interesting, starting point this morning.
You can't be discreet anymore. You can't live a quiet life. You can live a private life. Your privacy is out there. Anywhere you go to and want to have a private, nice, quiet, private moment, people still come and say hello to you and they recognize you. So you cannot really go to the trade fair and just say, you know what, I just want to go alone and just be alone and not for people not to recognize me and have a me time. So those are the consequences. But it goes with the job. We don't regret it. It's all part of public service. I started at UTG as a lecturer in 2009. Then I was the youngest. I could say one of the youngest lecturers then. I was very young. And I was in the political science department. Then it was a very new department together with Dr. Sajat and one Nigerian, Fred Ozo. We developed the department and, make it grow. I was also very popular then at UTG. But before that, I was very popular in Sweden as well. In Sweden also, I had to live the same life where everybody has to know who Is. They used to call me Is.
Is.
So everybody knew, of course, everybody knew who Is was. If you say
so when you hear
Is, I was very active in the Gambian community. I was organizing most of the football tournaments and the social activities. I was president of the association there. And I revived the association. It was almost dead. But even before that, I was very popular. I have this is my destiny wherever I am and whatever I do.
As the Wolof said, well,
but that it goes with it. It's all about public service. We could have choose to live a very quiet life and not be involved in politics or in social services. We could still survive because we are not very educated, but we are.
What attracted you to politics? Because I think 2 or 3 programs back, you made reference to your dad, Ceesay Forestry. So
he did his bit.
Yeah. So what attracted you to politics? Because he was not a politician.
No, he wasn't. He was a civil servant.
Your mother may not have also.
My mom was a teacher, a school teacher for 40 years.
So what drew Is into politics?
Actually, what happened was when I just moved to Sweden, But even before I moved to Sweden, when I was even in Brikama on the streets, everything that was organized, I used to organize it. So they used to call me PRO.
Really?
Mada organize picnic, mada jite affairs, tournaments, nevetan, mada jite, everything I was in front.
You dal dara du seda, dara du
No, so it was in my nature to see hamga kunekangi satisfied, kunekangi happy, you know. But when I went to Sweden, I saw how Swedish society was organized. I started following Swedish politics, and I started seeing how they developed their country from nothing. And I thought, this is what I want to do. Whatever happens, I want to go back home to Gambia and help transform Gambia into something like Sweden.
Yeah, but you could have achieved that without necessarily going into politics.
But you cannot, because when I remembered when I was in Sweden, I was working, sending money back to my parents. So the only people who benefited from me was my parents and my close family, but not the entire Gambia. Then I thought, for all this not sustainable, let me get myself educated, because if I have knowledge, the whole Gambia can benefit from it.
Yeah, okay.
But I have to come back to the Gambia and contribute and do my part. And that got me into public service. And I was teaching at the university, teaching theory, because the thing with me is that I studied political science up to PhD level. I taught political science. I got myself into politics. When I was teaching politics, I was analyzing politics. I was profiling solutions. And then I thought it's not enough to just sit.
So when you were in active opposition politics, you were not just criticizing. You would criticize and offer solutions.
I was profiling solutions. That is why I see at the level of CA, we came up with a 10-point plan. We came up with a manifesto to say, hey, this is how we want to do it.
Yeah, the UDP has a manifesto. The UDP has, what is it?
But we set the pace. When we came into politics, all those parties were not thinking about these 10-point plans, manifestos. The debate was about policy. We changed that at CA level. When we came into politics, we changed that. We changed the debate. We said, you know what, this is not about personalities. It's about solutions and policies. And we positioned ourselves in the ideological spectrum to say, hey, a party has to have an ideological direction, not just to enter politics because you just want to enter politics. For example, most of these one-man movements we are seeing proliferating now, going everywhere. These are one-man shows, people who had no direction, ideological direction. They entered because some of them are disgruntled, some of them are just want to, I think they have a lot of money to spend, they don't know how to spend it, and they say, you know what, let us enter politics. But they know they have no chance, they have no alternatives, and they are not solutions. But coming back to your question is that I have always been wired to be a public servant, to be in the public space. That's how I've been wired, that's how my life is. And you don't go against destiny. I've been destined to be a statesman. And everything, and that is why people ask me in the street, how do you cope with all this going on? I said, look, I'm not working as far as I'm concerned. What I'm doing at the ministry is like leisure for me.
It's leisure?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy it. I have passion for what I'm doing. So for me, it's not work. Sometimes I feel sad if it's Friday because I don't want weekends to come. And I'm happy on Sundays because I want Monday to come so I can come to Pt.1 and interface with the public. So when I enjoy my work, because... And for me, it's not very difficult for me.
Do you feel sad on Fridays? Because on Saturday, as you say, you can't go to the office. On Sunday, you can't go to the office. There's this suggestion that since you joined the borough administration, nearly all your friends deserted you, disappointed in you based on, you know, what you used to say about this government and how overnight you have turned from one type of to a completely different is.
When any friend who will desert you because you changed positions on political issues, it's not a true friend. I'm happy that they desert me.
So you're happy that
if because I wouldn't desert you because you've changed political position. People change political positions everywhere in the world. It's not new it's perennial in politics since ancient Rome, since ancient Greece. People change political positions. People were Democrats before. Then later they became aristocrats and vice versa. So is it new? I can change political positions based on the facts I have. It doesn't change my principle as a person. If I want to be friends with Peter, it's because of your character, your nature, who you are, and not your political position. Politics come and go. Friendship stays. If I have a friend who was UDP yesterday and today want to go to DOI, it's your choice. That wouldn't change our friendship. Anybody who deserts me because of my political positions, then I'm happy that you are gone. Okay. And I'll celebrate.
All right. So much for Dr. Ismaila Ceesay's, private life. You're here as Minister of Information, Media and Broadcasting Service, effectively.
Yes.
An important spokesman of the government. You know, we had Ami Bojang on the program.
Yes, I followed that program.
I just call her Ami Bojang. You probably will be more formal with her. And I try to understand the different roles of the ministry, the office of the spokesman, and the office of the director of press and public relations. And basically, when you come here every Tuesday morning, and truth be told, you know, you try as much as possible to do that. You share updates about, you know, government actions, intentions, and decisions, which is what you're supposed to do. Of course, the office of the spokesperson exists, but he's out of the jurisdiction, you know, for now on study leave. And also she does her own thing. But occasionally, your roles overlap. Because
not with the DPPR.
But from time to time, if you travel with the president, for instance, and you come to coffee time, and you're asked to, you know, speak about, you know, his decisions, his utterances, and what, that's effectively what Ami Bojang should do. No? Not
necessarily. Ami Bojang is director of press. She coordinates all press activities of the around the presidency. Okay. And also public relations, the PR for the presidency, branding of the presidency. Her scope is limited to the presidency. That's why she's director of press and public relations of the presidency, and not for the entire government. Now, yes, there can be some overlap in the president and the government, because it's almost one and the same.
That's what I said.
But I don't see any overlap there. I think it's complementarity instead of overlapping. We complement each other's work. She focuses more on the president in terms of coordinating the press activities, mobilize, and also the public relations aspect. I speak for government policies, defend government policies.
There's an office specifically called Office of the Spokesman of the Government of the Gambia.
Yes, but also there's a Ministry of Information, Media and Broadcasting Services, mandated to oversee the broadcasting sector, but also disseminate public information, and also to regulate the sector, but as well also brand the government. Now, if there's an overlap, I wouldn't see it as an overlap. I think it's a complementarity. The overlap is not a negative overlap. What it does is that it just adds the voice, it adds the volume, and amplifies the voice of government. So I don't see that as a negative overlap. If it's an overlap, it's a positive overlap.
No, we're just trying to, you know, to understand, you know, the three different entities, you know, where the delineating lines are.
It just shows how government takes very importantly public information, but also access to information. If we can be able to assign 3 offices for that, it shows how seriously we take the issue of...
Yeah, on paper it looks like that. But again, this is a government that is more reactive than proactive. You're always, you know, firefighting, responding.
Not anymore. Now we are more engaging now in proactive disclosure to the Mansakunda, to the press conferences, but also to the release of press releases as well. So now we engage in proactive disclosure. With the advent of the ATI law, this also helps us with proactive disclosure. Yes, you cannot be proactive in every issue. There are issues that you have to react to, but we try as best as possible to be proactive, to provide the public with authentic, relevant, accurate, and factual information.
Okay. All right. Dr. Ceesay is with us right up to 10 o'clock when we welcome our next guest, who is the leader of, yes, a movement, an alliance. In fact, he is suggesting that we do away completely with party ideology, get rid of all these NPPs and UDPs and whatever. Let's talk about movements and alliances.
Well, I've not seen even the countries that have mature democracies like the USA, they still have the Democrats and the Republicans. The Britain, they still have Labour and Conservative and Lib Dems, and Germany, they still have their parties. Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Australia, New Zealand. I've not seen any country that has done with party politics to say we just with movement. It shows.
Maybe you should.
Nothing is wrong. Nothing is wrong with dreaming. I mean, people can dream.
No, his reasoning. I would say maybe you should just listen to his reasoning.
some reasons don't just make sense, and I think it's fit for public debate. I don't think we should waste our time on those things to debate on certain things.
Let's start.
If you say we should maybe Anyway, I wouldn't go into that. Those are my ideas, but I don't want to waste time on that. I want
Your ideas are welcome. Let's hear.
I want to focus on today what we are here for, and we can have the debate another time.
Okay.
I would be happy to have a debate on that.
Fantastic. All right, let's start with the updates.
First update is not an update, it's events this week, very important media events. One is the presidential media dinner, or the presidential press dinner that the presidency organizes now.
We just spoke about it last week.
It's the 19th. So I hope this time you'll come. Last year you had an excuse, and this year there'll be no excuses for you. So I'm looking forward to seeing you.
I'm battling a cold. People have been listening to me since last week.
The symptoms are not visible.
Occasionally they would hear me cough in the background. I'm sure they've heard me cough.
The other one is a press conference tomorrow, a roundup of all major events and policies of the year. We invite all the media houses to be present while we discuss critical issues, but also plans for next year. The other update has to do with official launch of the Gambia infrastructure project. Today at the Saturday Kairaba Jah Oil Conference Center. It is a $52.6 million World Bank project financed by the International Development Association of the World Bank. Now the purpose of the project is threefold. It aims to strengthen climate resilient infrastructure. With climate change, we need to ensure that we build infrastructure that is climate resilient in terms of our public infrastructure. It could be agricultural infrastructure, sports infrastructure, education infrastructure, but they must be climate resilient. But also improve service delivery. We think this is important. These are the heart of government priority, service delivery. People must get access to services no matter where you are in this country. And I've emphasized this before, that the president's vision is to ensure every Gambian lives a dignified life and you access services, quality services where you are. And the third one is to enhance institutional capacity across key sectors to support socioeconomic development. So basically, this is a $52.6 million project. What we are going to do is to upgrade and climate-proof priority road corridors, improve electricity transmission and distribution reliability, enhance digital and public service systems, and strengthen institutional capacity for infrastructure planning, safeguards, procurement, and project management. So this will take place today. Now, the other update I want to have is not an update, it's just to bring clarity on the issue of the so-called sale of Mile 2 to the Gambia Ports Authority.
So-called? Is it not a sale?
It's a takeover, because remember, Gambia Ports Authority is a government institution. Mile 2 is a government institution under the Ministry of Interior. Now, if there are calls to modernize and humanize and build a more dignified correctional facility where, we respect the rights of prisoners, because everybody, there's consensus across the board that the Mile 2 is not fit for purpose anymore, and it is not fit for human habitation. The government is planning, and land has been allocated in Nyambikala, in West Coast region, to build a new correctional facility, which is in line with international standards. And we need resources for that. Now, if we have plans to expand part of our so-called Banjul Port Expansion Project, we need space.
It's a so-called Banjul Port Expansion Project.
Okay, remove the so-called. That was an oversight. Okay, the Banjul Expansion.
Remember, whatever you tell us,
Yeah, the Banjul Expansion is on. I mean, it's on. It's not like it's a promise. It has started already. And we need more space for containers so that the expansion can be successful. And there is space at the Mile 2 where the Mile 2 prisons is, and we are planning the Mile 2 prisons, and the Ports Authority has brought in some financing to start the prisons facility. So I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't know why people are crying about that. I think we should even commend the government for having the foresight and the vision and the wisdom to be innovative in raising the funds to build a new correctional facility. Now, Gambia Ports Authority is not a private entity. It is a government entity. It is a public institution. Taking over another public institution, putting forward the finances to build a new correctional facility, I think is kudos to the government for that. I think that clarity needs to be made on that.
No, I tell you why, it matters to the public. Mm-hmm. I mean, why would you have such good information rather than being proactive with it? You sit on it until somebody, picks it up and brings it to the media in a way that,
it wasn't picked up. It was the minister that came up with it.
This was a newspaper headline.
No.
This was a newspaper
what was the source?
That you are reacting to. Just like the Bible says.
It wasn't.
It's like lighting a lamp and putting it under the bed.
It wasn't a newspaper headline alone. The newspaper headline is sourced from somewhere, from the Minister of Interior in Parliament. He made this revelation in Parliament and reported this to Parliament. That is where the paper got its source from.
Is Parliament the best place to, break news to the Gambian citizens?
But that's where the public is. Every Gambian is represented in Parliament. Why is a better place for you to give Gambians than to Parliament? That's why everybody in Parliament represents someone in the country.
After somebody picks up, has wind of the transaction, and then, compels the minister to come clean on it. That's what you people go to do in Parliament.
No, it's not about...
When you go to Parliament, you are not going there to volunteer information. You've been summoned there, all right, to answer specific questions. So don't give us this that, it's the best place to give information. If you hadn't been questioned on it, probably we still would not know that the Mile 2 prisons, has gone to GPA after finances have exchanged hands. So how much did the government receive from the GPA for Mile 2 prison?
I don't have those figures. What I know is that,
again,
and I think those figures.
If somebody picks it up and makes it a headline on any of the newspapers, you'll come running here to clarify. Government is
I think
very transparent with information.
What I've seen, I cannot confirm this, but what I understand is about $4 million. If I'm right, I mean, I can be corrected. I hope one of the ministers is listening who has information to this can correct me.
So they paid in dollars, not dalasi. How much would that be in Gambian dalasi? Again,
if it's for
the legal tender locally is the dalasi. So if we speak in terms of dollars and government transactions,
so $4 million at 7 at the rate of
so why would Gambians be denied, to accept rent in dollars?
No.
Let's put the dollars on top of the.
What I'm saying is that
$4 million is how many dollars?
If you do $1 at 73, that would be about over $200 million.
Definitely over 200.
Over 250 million, thereabout. But what I'm trying to say is that let's not focus on that. Let's focus on the foresight of the government and the vision of the government to have innovative way of financing. It's okay for the government to have foresight,
but
projects.
When you take decisions on behalf of the Gambian citizen, tell the Gambian citizen that this is the decision we have taken,
proactively
on your behalf.
I concede.
So that somebody does not pick it up, twist it in such a way that we hear it and we're questioning what kind of government is this.
Yes, I think we can do better in that aspect, in terms of being more proactive.
Hopefully 2026 will change.
Well, I mean, like I said, no government is perfect. We do our best to be proactive in giving information. If there's oversight in some information, I mean, we take responsibility. What is important is the intention of the government. We have no intention to sell Mile 2 prisons to a private entity just for personal gain. What we are doing is to find innovative way of financing public projects, and one of these projects is the correctional facility. And in this case, it's a takeover by one government institution of another, raising the finances to start the building of a new correctional facility.
While we're on the issue of Gambia Ports Authority, what can you tell us about this dredging activity going on to allow big ships? Because the conversation now is around the shortage of cement. An importer is saying there's more cement sitting in our waters than the country can consume in 3, 4, 5, possibly even 6 months. But the problem is the ship cannot berth.
The depth of our port is 9.5 meters, I think, but the vessel that came is about 13 or 13.5. Therefore, it cannot anchor. What government is doing now, the procurement process has started to look for a partner to do the dredging, so that big ships like that can anchor. That dredging will go on.
Okay.
At the same time,
we are only at the procurement stage.
Yes, at the procurement
actual dredging hasn't started yet because we haven't got somebody to do the dredging.
Because you need to follow procurement processes, because as with public finances, you cannot just handpick anybody to come and do it. Public finances has rules.
But does government not occasionally do that? What do you call it? No objection, whatever?
No objection comes later. That means that a particular person has gone through the process. If it's a World Bank project, the World Bank has to give you no objection. But there is no, currently every project has to go through a public procurement process, which can take it has to follow certain procedures. Otherwise, you'll be flouting procurement rules.
All right.